Hello and welcome to Garry's Garage. As you will see in the pre-credits time lapse, I have put the fuel tank in place and the battery, and I've also put a little bit of sound deadening under these just to try to reduce the noise that comes from the back of the car. I'm not going to do the rest just yet, but that will be a project for the future. So with this all in place, and I've confirmed that none of the fuel pipes leak where I've had them all out, hence why I needed the battery, I am going to move and put the diff back in. So let's get under the car, get the diff in and all the suspension arms on. So with quite a lot of fighting, we finally managed to get all the suspension arms on. I realised why it was so much easier before and why I could do it by myself and why I struggled this time. Obviously I've moved everything. So the whole diff is an inch further back in the car, so all of the suspension arms are at an angle. So what we did in the end was loosened off the trailing arms that go forward that hold the hubs to the front and, you know, give them put them in the right place in the arch, and lengthened those to move it towards the back of the car a bit. That straightened up the arms and we were able to get it together. So suspension is now all back together. It will need quite a lot of alignment, so I'm going to have to, once I get to it in a little while, get it back down on its wheels and do the string box alignment again, just to get it roughly in the right place so that when I take it for a spin down the road it doesn't try to completely throw me off the road, and I can get it hopefully relatively in line, and I'll deal with actual alignment at a later date. But before I do that, I need to put the hub nuts back on to stop the drive shafts falling out, get the exhausts on, then get the wheels on, then get it down on the ground. So let's get on with that, and then we can look at getting those wheels aligned. I'm not sure how well the camera will actually pick this up, but there is a little bit of negative camber on this rear wheel, and the other side, yep, again a little bit of negative camber. And actually toe doesn't look too bad. Maybe that one's towing out a little bit. I will set up a string box and do a very quick check on it. If you want to see how I did that, well, I'll put a link up in the corner to a previous video where I did it. So just made a minor adjustment there to the alignment on the rear end and just nipped everything up tight. I will sort out the alignment properly at a later stage. But the next thing I need to do is go out for a drive to see whether that new Diff has made any difference whatsoever to the noise, and also to start to bed in the front brakes and see if they have made any difference. I'm about to go out for another drive in the car to see whether those changes that I've made to the rear diff have made any difference whatsoever to the noise of the car. Unfortunately, I've been in the house for the last 10 days because my wife has managed to pick up COVID, so she and all of us in the house have been self-isolating. It is still obviously really prevalent here in the UK at the moment. She has been out, she's done everything that she should be doing. She's still been wearing masks, even though it's not legally required. She's been washing her hands, using hand gel, and trying to maintain social distance. And despite all of that, she has still managed to pick it up. So please, please, everybody out there, try to be safe. But, you know, even though you can still do everything that you're asked, you can still pick this virus up. Thankfully, she has had both her vaccinations, as have all of us in the house, and she's had very, very mild symptoms. She's hardly had any symptoms at all, a bit of a cough. That's what sort of notified her to it in the first place. Thankfully, nothing more than that. And I think that is definitely because she has had those vaccines. Her body has been told what to do with the virus, and although she's got it, you know, the vaccinations don't stop you from getting it, but what it should do is mean that if you do manage to get it, your symptoms should be much less severe and there is much less chance of you dying. So anyway, mini rant over, and as I was saying, let's go out for a bit of a drive, and I've got the laptop next to me ready for some logging. So let's go and see as well if the car is a bit quieter on the road. I really hope so, after spending all that time moving that diff, redoing the boot floor twice. And yeah, and obviously we need to go and bed the brakes in and see whether those brakes make any difference to the pedal feel. And yeah, so let's go. Okay, so there's definitely different noises coming from the car now. That really horrible kind of grinding noise on the overrun has basically disappeared. So that's really good. There's still a bit of a road speed related noise coming from the back. Still not brilliant. My speed sensors aren't quite reading correct, so they are definitely off. I think the calibration of those is definitely off. I thought I had corrected those, but obviously not. And yeah, I need a nice piece of road to go and bed the brakes in. But they're working at least, and they are stopping me. And I've got a bit of a ticking-y noise coming from the front that I don't remember having before. They are running quite rich. Well, that's just all down to the tuning. It did dive a little bit left then under braking, but it was the first kind of real heavy brake. I think some of that sound deadening I've put in the boot certainly helps as well. It's certainly getting quieter. It's always going to be a loud car, but it's definitely getting a bit quieter. Okay, brakes are starting to come in now. Lovely little country road. Just accelerate a bit, brake, accelerate a bit, brake. I think I've got a bit too much rear bias. Yeah, something's definitely locking up there. Can't quite tell whether it's front or back yet. Wanting to go sideways anyway. So I think that was quite a good test drive. I definitely am starting to get those brakes bedded in. It is definitely braking a lot better, and I even got some chirp from the tyres, which I haven't really had before. Still not 100% sure whether it was front or back, but it's definitely getting better, and the more I drive it and the more I bed these brakes in, the better it will be. Speed sensor wise, they are kind of working. I think the front is reading correctly, the rear not necessarily. I wonder whether one of those bolt heads is just rotated just slightly and the sensor's not quite picking it up, because when I get to about 40-ish miles an hour, that kind of then starts to display roughly the right speed, but under that it doesn't. So yeah, something's not quite right there. I do need to reconfigure the speedo in the dash, because that now has 25% more pulses, so that was reading 25% under. So when that was saying 40, I was actually doing 30. And noise wise, well, that was the main aspect of changing this, as well as obviously the different diff ratio. And it is definitely quieter. There is definitely fewer noises coming from it. That really loud, high-pitched kind of grinding-y noise definitely has gone. So I'm really happy about that. That was probably the most obnoxious noise in the car. on overruns, so foot right off the throttle, and under engine braking, there was a lot of noise coming from the back end. Most of that now has gone. There obviously is still a little bit of grumbling, but diffs, the way they work, you know, you've got gears meshing into each other. There's contact there. There is going to be some form of noise. That's why manufacturers fit diffs and suspension and all of that on rubber, because the rubber absorbs some of the shock and some of the noise and doesn't transmit that to the car. I've got absolutely everything solidly mounted, so I am going to get noise. It's never going to be a perfectly quiet car, but I can definitely do things to make it less bad. And that I think I have managed to do. So as you may notice, I'm still outside. I have taken the opportunity whilst my wife has been isolating and I've been isolating to make a start on tidying up my garage, because I'm getting hold of a few more tools from my dad's place. I'll be going down there this coming weekend when this video comes out to sort out some more things there and bring some more equipment and tools back home. Unfortunately, yes, I have inherited a rather large amount of tools, definitely 20 or 30 years too early. So I've been building up my own tool collection. My dad, obviously, as a trained mechanic for his entire career, he had a large selection of tools, and now it's time, unfortunately, much too prematurely, to combine those two together and make me one very good set of tools from the two of them. So I'll be doing that. So I don't know how much I will get done on the Anglia over the next couple of weeks, because I really do need to sort out those tools and all the equipment and my garage, because at the moment it is a complete and utter mess. But you have to break eggs to make an omelette, so you can't do these things without first creating a mess and spreading stuff everywhere, and that's definitely what I'm doing. So I will see whether I can get an update to you in a couple of weeks. Otherwise, I do have a dyno booked, and then it will be the next video will be the day before the dyno. So yeah, still definitely a couple of things that need tweaking, I think. So I'll review these logs and I will get back to you. So maybe in a couple of weeks' time, but if not, then definitely a little bit after that. So thank you very much for watching, and if you're enjoying what I'm doing, then be sure to hit that like and subscribe buttons. And if you really love what I'm doing and want to support me with a little bit of money every month, then please click the details below for Patreon. It is really greatly appreciated. I want to say a huge thank you to all my patrons. I really, really appreciate that you are putting your hand in your pocket every month to give me a small amount of money. Small amount for you, but for me, it means the world. So thank you very much. Anyway, see you next time on Garry's Garage. Bye.